I'd say everything is coming along really well with the indoor garden. Even the radishes are looking incredible. Peas, well, they're already starting to put on flowers. And the cucumbers, well, I think we're going to thin one or two out. I thought I could let all three grow. I just don't think that's possible. The cilantro is looking great, though. We'll be harvesting from that in no time. Can you guess what this lettuce is? If you guess tango, you're right. Look how beautiful those leaves are. Incredible. Even the super red romaine's really kicking in. It's looking great. Oh my goodness, those leaves are so pretty. And the mustard, that's ready to start harvesting. Man, that looks so good. And look at the basil. It is growing like crazy now. So the plants are looking incredible, aren't they? I am really happy with how the plants are looking, and certainly at 4 weeks, I never thought this was possible. And I can chalk that up to learning from our experiences year after year, honing our skills when it comes to learning from watering, lighting schedules, temperature, the right type of soil, the right type of fertilizing, and the schedule in which we fertilize. All of that is kind of constantly being built on with more knowledge and more success. And so this is definitely the fastest I've ever seen plants grow because they're not stressed. So they're not spending time recovering from stress, and they can spend more of that energy on growing, which is great. And I really love that. But the reason why I wanted to film this episode was because I wanted to address a common concern that keeps coming up in the comments box, and it will pertain to both indoors and outdoor growing if you're growing with soil. And that is the supposed, proper soil depth myth. I guess if you could put a name to it, that's what it is. It's people that are so concerned about the depth of their soil that they're basically telling me, well, my plants are going to live no more than 5 or 6 weeks and then they're going to die. And that's because they hear all the time say you need to give 12 inches, 24 inches. There's always a certain measurement of how deep to make your beds. And it really causes a lot of people unnecessary concern. And I'm going to show you why. Because it's not necessarily the depth of the soil that's a problem. It's the volume of soil that we're concerned about. The depth of soil is only one aspect. If you take a box and it is 1 inch or 1 inch wide by 12 feet tall, or 12 inches tall, whatever one whatever. So you have a little 1 inch square by 1 inch square by 12 inches long. That's 12 cubic inches of soil. Okay, but if you have something that is, let's say, 4 inches wide by 3 inches long by only 1 inch deep, that's 12 cubic inches of soil. So the same applies in a garden in that if you need a certain volume, we typically say for large plants about 2 to 3 gallons of soil. If you have something like lettuce or something like bunching onions or radishes, they need about maybe a 1/4 gallon to a 1/2 gallon of soil. They're very low maintenance, and you can cram a lot of plants in a small space, in a small volume of soil. The roots simply will go to their barrier, regardless if it's straight down, straight out. It really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is when it comes to watering. The shallower the bed, the more often you're going to have to water, because there's more surface area above and not as much soil below that's going to wick that water up and keep the soil moist, which means you're going to have to water more frequently. True. But do the plants know? They don't. They only know volume. And that is a tried and true fact. Roots will go wherever the nutrients and water are. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean your plants are going to die if they can't go down any further. They'll just simply go out. And that's why volume is so important. The only exception to that is with root crops, like carrots or like potatoes. Root crops, I do understand there is an importance to that, but the plant would still survive. And I think that's the counter argument to that, is that the plant wouldn't die, it just wouldn't get an appealing root for you to harvest. Okay, so I think there is a there's a distinguishable difference between dying and not getting a harvest. So I do want to make that a clarification, because if you're growing your carrots for their carrot tops and you didn't care about the bottoms, you're going to have plenty of carrot tops because the plant, will do just fine. So let's go over to the bed and let's talk about that now. I just want to show you kind of what I'm talking about and how to determine the volume of your soil. All right, we're here with the bed, and I'm going to show you a really quick tip and a conversion to just determine how much soil you need or how much soil you have to work with. And basically, it's just to determine kind of if you have enough soil and volume to grow these plants. So greens, like I said, herbs, radishes, they don't require that much soil, pretty negligible, maybe half a gallon to a gallon at most for something like this, for like a block of greens like that. Cucumbers, tomatoes, larger things, peppers, eggplant, they're going to need about 3 gallons minimum. If you give them a little bit more, they won't be complaining, but I always say the bare minimum is about 3 gallons. So how do you determine how many gallons are in this? How many gallons does this grow bed hold? Well, there's a very simple conversion, and that is 1 cubic foot of soil is about 7.5 gallons, 7.4, but for 7.48, but for those that like rounding it up to something easy like myself, 7.5 gallons. So that is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. Okay, that is 7.5 gallons of soil. It's very surprising. So how much soil is in here? Well, I know the length is 4 feet. I know the width is 4 feet. That's 16 square feet. So how deep is it? Well, it's 6 inches deep, meaning it's a half a foot. So it's 0.5. So you take 4 times 0.5, and you get 8 cubic feet. Ta-da! You multiply that out, and you get roughly 59 gallons. So basically 60 gallons in this bed. So you can see 60 gallons is well more than enough to grow all these plants. Now, it is important to space them out because they do, they need their respective space to let their roots expand and take up that volume that they need. So you can't cram like a tomato right next to these plants. The roots will choke each other out. That's why the spacing is definitely important in this type of setup. But you can see that, in a bed like this, it can be 6 inches, just barely 6 inches tall. But if you have enough space, you can grow all of these plants just fine, and their roots will do fine. End of story. There's no need to be concerned about your plants dying if your beds are too shallow. So there you go. I really hope that you enjoyed. I hope this clarifies any questions or concerns that you may have. And I will say that there's nothing wrong with going deeper. There's nothing wrong with going wider or whatever. A garden should be up to you. And I don't ever want to tell someone what they should and shouldn't be doing. But I feel that it is very important to answer the questions that are out there as it pertains to concerns that are about plant health, and maybe there's some mistruths out there that are worth pointing out, and that's really what I wanted to do in this video. I know a lot of times people want to build a bed that is very deep, but really tall, so that it's easier on their back. The plants might not use up the plants really won't use up all of that soil very far down. And it might be kind of wasteful on your pocketbook, but if you want to do it, go for it. It won't harm them. I just wanted to show you kind of that bare minimum if you just really don't have a lot of resources on hand, that you can still have a successful garden if you implement the right techniques and keep your plants stress-free by doing the right things and following their requirements. You can really have a lot of success, even in a 6-inch bed. 6 inches, folks. And like I said, there's no magic here. We're showing it live here for you because we really want you to just take home this type of information and really grow big with it. Because I know there are so many people that they message us. They say, I only have access to 3 cubic feet of soil. What do I do? What can I grow? I don't feel like I have enough to grow anything. And it's like, you can grow a lot with 3 cubic feet. You can grow a lot with 3 cubic feet of soil. So, I just really want to stress that point and show people that yes, it is possible and you don't have to worry. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll catch you all later. See ya. Bye.